Chapter 1, The Last Dinner. Devin Mercer found himself staring at the impeccably arranged table settings in his in-laws' sprawling Connecticut home. Crystal glasses shimmered in the light of the chandelier while his wife, Vanessa, flitted about the dining room, sharing laughter and touch with her family. For the Harlow family, Thanksgiving was a display of wealth, connections, and unspoken hierarchies, and every year it reminded Devin of how much he felt like an outsider. At 42, Devin still echoed the rags-to-riches story, a single mother's son from rural Ohio who had worked his way through college on scholarships to build a thriving architectural consulting business. Yet, in the eyes of the Harlows, none of that mattered. Their values were rooted in family names and trust funds, with his accomplishments just whispers in the wind. His mother-in-law, Beatrice Harlow, approached him with a glass of wine. "Devin dear, why don't you help Thomas bring in more chairs? We're short too." With a smirk, Vanessa's younger brother, Thomas, leaned against the wall. At 33, he had never held a job, relying on his parents' wealth while pretending to be a venture capitalist. "Sure thing, Beatrice," Devin replied, setting down his drink. In the storage room, Thomas continued the jabs. "So, how's business?" "Still, drawing little buildings," Devin replied, deliberately ignoring the sarcasm. "Architectural consulting isn't just drawing buildings. Business is good. We just landed the Westlake project." "Dad says that project's going to tank," Thomas shot back, examining his manicured nails. "Guess you wouldn't know about market predictions." Before Devin could retort, his phone buzzed. A text from his business partner, Liam. "They accepted our bid. We beat Henderson Group. Celebrating tomorrow." He couldn't help but smile. The Henderson Group, Devin's biggest competitor, was helmed by Preston Henderson, Vanessa's ex-boyfriend, and the man her family had always preferred for her. When Devin returned to the dining room, the atmosphere felt palpable. Attention shifted toward him with expressions of pity and amusement. Vanessa stood at the table's head with a wineglass in hand, mid-speech. "Dating apps have a 99% success rate these days. He's the 1% failure." Laughter erupted as she pointed straight at him. Silence enveloped the room as Devin froze, holding the folding chairs. A syrupy voice dripped from Vanessa. "Oh honey, I was just telling everyone about our meet-cute. You know, the marriage mistake." Frederick Harlow, Devin's father-in-law, cleared his throat uncomfortably. "Perhaps we should serve the turkey." But Beatrice chimed in, "Well darling, you could always upgrade. Preston just finalized his divorce and he was asking about you at the club." Devin set the chairs down and felt the weight of years of small digs, of feeling like an outsider. It crystallized in that moment, a whirlwind of humiliation. When Vanessa noticed his expression, she attempted to smooth things over. "It's just a joke." Without responding, Devin walked upstairs to their guest room. He packed his suitcase, methodically placing his wedding ring on the dresser before stepping out the front door. Behind him, he could hear Vanessa calling his name, dismissing his departure with a tone indicating she thought he'd return. "He's so sensitive sometimes. He'll be back." He wouldn't. Chapter 2, Ghosts and Foundations. 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, Devin sat in a lawyer's office in downtown Boston, deliberately chosen for its distance from the Harlow sphere. His lawyer, Martin Wolfe, adjusted his glasses, concern etching his features. "You're sure about this, Devin? Complete disappearance? New identity? It's extreme." "I'm sure," Devin replied, sliding a folder across the desk. "The Harlows have connections everywhere. If I divorce Vanessa, they'll make sure I can't work in architecture again. Frederick already threatened me last year when I wouldn't sign my company over to their family trust." Martin sighed. "Your business is finally taking off. The Westlake project alone would set you up for. They'll find a way to take that too." Devin's voice hardened. "I've spent 7 years watching how they operate. They'll crush me out of spite." After signing the papers, Devin walked to his hotel, where his phone buzzed constantly with texts from Vanessa, Liam, clients, none of which he answered. At midnight, he dropped his phone into Boston Harbor and watched it sink. By February, Davis Morgan existed only on paper. A new social security number, driver's license, the background, his architectural degree couldn't transfer, but the knowledge remained. He took a job as a draftsman at a small firm in Portland, Oregon. The owner, Russell Bergen, saw the talent that lay beneath his surface. "You're overqualified," Russell remarked after Devin's first month. "I don't know what you're running from, but your work is exceptional." "Just looking for a fresh start," Devin replied. "Well, your fresh start has earned you a promotion. A junior architect position just opened up. It's yours if you want it." Devon's new apartment was a small studio above a bookstore in a rain-soaked Portland neighborhood, nothing like the Connecticut mansion he'd shared with Vanessa. Yet, for the first time in years, he slept without suffocating under inadequacy. On particularly dark nights, he'd remember Vanessa before life took its toll on her, how she had once adored his ambition, only to let her family's expectations overshadow their love. The gradual realization that she saw him as a project, not a genuine partner, was a bitter pill to swallow. 6 months after disappearing, Devon saw his own face on a missing persons report online. Articles painted him as mentally unstable, possibly a threat to himself. The Harlows had created a narrative of a man who couldn't handle the pressure of business, who had abandoned his thriving firm and loving wife. Beneath the article, Preston Henderson had weighed in, "I'm deeply concerned for Devon. We have our professional rivalries, but I'd never wish this kind of breakdown on anyone." Devon closed his browser and returned to his drafting board. Let them think him broken. He was building something entirely new. Chapter 3, Rising from Ashes. 5 years after vanishing, Davis Morgan became a partner at Bergen Architecture. His distinctive modernist designs, complete with sustainable elements, began attracting attention throughout the Pacific Northwest. Magazines featured his work and clients started seeking him out specifically. "You should consider starting your own firm," Russell suggested over lunch. "You've outgrown us." Devon, now comfortably in his new identity, shook his head. "I appreciate what you've given me, but launching a firm under my own name would increase visibility. Even with a new identity, a high-profile architect would draw unwanted attention." Meanwhile, the Harlow family hadn't stopped looking for him, not out of concern, but to maintain their narrative and reclaim what they considered theirs. His silent partner from the disappearance, Martin, would send annual updates through secure channels. Vanessa had filed for divorce in absentia after 2 years, portraying herself as the abandoned wife who had then married Preston Henderson the following year. They now had a child together, a 3-year-old boy named Alexander. Liam had been forced to sell their old firm for pennies on the dollar, crushed by the Harlow connections after Devon's disappearance. None of it touched him anymore. Davis Morgan had built a life away from the shadows of inadequacy. On the 7th anniversary of his disappearance, he received an unusual message from Martin. They hired a specialized investigator. "Be cautious." 3 weeks later, while reviewing plans for an eco-resort in Washington, a knock interrupted Devon's concentration. "There's someone here insistent on seeing you, Mr. Morgan. Anina Reeves says it's about a private commission." The name didn't ring a bell. "Send her in." When the slender woman entered, Devon quickly realized she was not a potential client. Her intelligent eyes assessed him with a knowing gaze. "Mr. Morgan, or should I say Mr. Mercer?" Devon remained neutral, though surprise flickered in his eyes. "I think you have me confused with someone else." She placed a folder on his desk. 7 years ago you disappeared after a Thanksgiving dinner. Your wife has been searching for you ever since." Devon straightened. "I don't know what you're talking about." Nina leaned forward, her intensity unwavering. "I was hired to find you and now I have. They'll be here tomorrow. I've given them your address and workplace." "And what do you expect will happen?" he asked. "That depends on whether you're still running, Mr. Mercer." She paused at the door. "For what it's worth, what they did to you was inexcusable. But 7 years is a long time for everyone." After she left, Devon sat motionless, staring at the Portland skyline. 7 years of careful construction, a new identity, a new life, a new reputation, all hanging in the balance. He considered running again and had contingency plans, another identity ready, accounts in different names. But running would mean starting from zero once more. No, Devon Mercer had run once. Davis Morgan wouldn't. That night he called Martin for the first time in years. "They found me. I heard Nina Reeves is thorough. What will you do?" "Prepare?" Devon's voice was calm. "Omega." Martin sounded alarmed. "That was your scorched earth scenario. Is that really necessary?" "They're coming to my door, Martin. After 7 years of freedom, they want to drag me back into their world." "What would you suggest?" The line went silent for a moment. "Very well. Omega it is. I'll activate the protocols immediately." "Thank you, Martin." "Devon," Martin said quietly, "whatever happens, remember that revenge is a path that changes the traveler as much as the destination." Devon hung up and turned to his computer. By dawn he had set everything in motion. When the Harlows and their entourage arrived, they would find not the broken man they expected, but something far more dangerous. A man with nothing left to lose and 7 years of careful planning behind him. Chapter 4. Unwelcome visitors. At precisely 10:17 a.m., the elevator to Devon's floor pinged. He sat at his desk, reviewing blueprints, when his assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. "Mr. Morgan, several people are here insisting on seeing you. A Mrs. Henderson, Mr. Henderson, and others." "They don't have appointments," Devon replied calmly. "Send them in," he decided. The door opened and suddenly 7 years collapsed into a single moment. Vanessa entered first, still elegant at 42, though lines of stress framed her eyes. Following her were Preston Henderson, more gray at his temples but wearing the same self-assured expression Devon remembered, as well as Thomas Harlow and surprisingly, Liam Bennett, Devon's former business partner. "Devon?" Vanessa's voice broke. Her eyes were rimmed with red, mascara slightly smudged. "It's really you." He leaned back in his chair, observing them with clinical detachment. "It's Davis actually. Davis Morgan." He gestured to his assistant by the door. "Allison, hold my calls for the next hour." As soon as she left, silence descended. Preston broke it first. "You've done well for yourself, Mercer. Nice little operation here. Bergen and Morgan is the third largest architectural firm in the Pacific Northwest." "Hardly little," Devon replied evenly. "Devon," Vanessa said, moving closer, reaching for his desk. "Please. We need to talk to you. It's important." "Important enough to hunt me down after 7 years?" Devon replied, his voice neutral. "What could possibly be so urgent?" "Our son," Vanessa whispered, tears spilling over her cheeks. "He needs you." Devon felt his heart stop. "You mean your son with Preston?" "He's not my concern." Vanessa's eyes widened in desperation. "That's what we need to tell you," Liam interjected, stepping forward with urgency. "Alexander is your biological son." Devon's composure wavered. "Explain," he demanded, feeling swirling emotions. Vanessa sank into a chair opposite him. "After you left that night, I discovered I was pregnant. About 6 weeks along. I tried to find you, but you vanished completely." Preston's jaw tightened. "When we married, I agreed to raise him as my own. The timing worked. No one questioned it. And now," Thomas added, "he's sick. Very sick. He needs a bone marrow transplant. We've all been tested, none of us are compatible." "So you need my bone marrow," Devon concluded flatly, bitterness creeping into his tone. "We're begging you," Vanessa said, fresh tears cascading down her cheeks. "He's just a little boy. He's fighting so hard, but the doctors say—" "Stop," Devon interrupted, standing and walking to the window. Portland sprawled beneath gray skies, heavy with memories. "You show up after 7 years expecting me to believe this story? The timing is suspiciously convenient." Liam stepped forward again, placing medical records on Devon's desk. "It's all here. The diagnosis, the test results. Alexander doesn't have much time." Devon scanned the documents. They appeared legitimate, but the Harlows were excellent manipulators. "Why did you bring him?" He nodded toward Liam, a man he felt betrayed him after his downfall. "I had a family to support," Liam replied, eyes downcast. Devon faced them all with cold determination. "Let me be clear. I don't believe you. I don't trust any of you. If Alexander exists, if he truly is my biological child, and if he is indeed ill, I'll need verification from independent sources." "We'll provide anything you need," Vanessa said quickly. "Just please don't take too long. Alexander doesn't have much time." "I'm not going anywhere with you," Devon stated firmly. "If you want my help, we do this my way. I'll have my own medical team verify everything, and if they confirm your story, I'll consider providing bone marrow. Nothing more." "Then I'll consider helping the boy," he added sharply. Thomas asked, "And if we agree?" "Then I'll consider helping the boy," Devon reiterated, fixing each of them with a steely gaze. "Not for any of you, but for an innocent child who never asked to be born into your family." Vanessa stood, composing herself. "We'll do whatever you ask. Just please don't take too long." Devon buzzed for his assistant. "Allison, my guests are leaving. Please show them out." As they filed toward the door, Vanessa turned back. "I'm so sorry, Devon, for everything. That night at Thanksgiving, I never meant to hurt you." "Goodbye, Vanessa," he cut her off, turning his focus to his computer, dismissing them all. Once gone, Devon sat motionless, his perfect control threatening to crack. A son, possibly his son, was dying. It could all be part of an elaborate trap. The Harlows were certainly capable of deception. But if it was true, he picked up his phone and dialed Martin. "I need you in Portland immediately. Bring Dr. Sanjay with you. We have a situation." Chapter 5, Blood Ties. 3 days later, Devon sat in a private room at Portland Memorial Hospital, deep in discussion with Dr. Eliza Sunjay, a medical specialist who once saved Martin Wolf's life and owed him a debt of discretion. The paternity test is conclusive, Dr. Sunjay confirmed, pointing to the highlighted sections. 99.99% probability that you are Alexander's biological father. Devon took a deep breath. And his condition? Dr. Sunjay's expression grew somber. Acute myeloid leukemia, aggressive variant. He's undergone 2 rounds of chemotherapy with minimal response. A bone marrow transplant is his best chance for survival. And I'm a match? Devon sought confirmation as dread settled in. Preliminary testing suggests a 9 out of 10 HLA match, which is excellent for a parent-child relationship, not perfect but promising. Martin, who had been sitting quietly in the corner, finally spoke. They're not lying about this, Devon. The boy is truly ill and he truly is your son. Devon stood, pacing the small room. 7 years of carefully constructed walls were threatening to crumble. What if this is just step 1? I provide bone marrow, save the boy, and then they use him to drag me back into their world permanently. That's a distinct possibility, Martin agreed cautiously. The Harlows don't do anything without multiple angles. I want to see him, Devon decided suddenly. Not with them present. Just the boy. Dr. Sunjay nodded. I can arrange that. He's at Connecticut Children's Hospital in Hartford. I can have privileges transferred and bring you in as a consulting physician. Do it. 2 days later, Devon stood outside a hospital room in Hartford, Connecticut, dressed in a doctor's white coat and displaying an ID badge identifying him as Dr. Davis Morgan. Through the window, he saw a small figure in the bed, dark hair resembling his own. The boy was animated, currently battling a video game despite the 4 lines and monitoring equipment. Dr. Sunjay appeared at his side. He's having a good day. The nurses say he's quite the fighter. Does he know about me? Devon asked quietly. They've told him a compatible donor has been located. Nothing more. Devon took a deep breath before entering the room. As he stepped in, Alexander looked up from his game. Are you another doctor? He assessed him with startlingly familiar eyes. Something like that, Devon replied, moving closer to the bed. I'm Davis. I'm Alex, the boy exclaimed. Are you here to poke me with more needles? Because I'm kind of on a boss level right now. Devon couldn't help but smile. No needles today. I just wanted to meet you. Are you the one who's going to give me new bone marrow? Alex asked directly, a typical childhood question. Possibly, Devon replied, feeling the weight of the moment. Mom has a picture of a man who looks like you, but she keeps it hidden in her dresser. She looks at it sometimes when she thinks no one's around. She gets sad after. Devon froze. Does she now? Yeah. She looks sad when she thinks I can't see her. Are you my real dad? Alex asked suddenly, his tone casual yet piercing. The directness of the question hit Devon like a physical blow. 7 years of careful distance collapsed under the weight of those 5 simple words. It's complicated. Adults always say that when they don't want to answer, Alex observed. But it's not complicated to me. Either you are or you aren't. Before Devon could respond, the door opened and Vanessa entered, frozen at the sight of him beside Alex's bed. What are you doing here? She whispered, a tumult of fear and anger in her expression. We had an agreement, Devon said calmly, standing up. I needed to see him to confirm for myself. Alex looked between them, comprehension dawning. So you are him, the man in the picture. Vanessa's face paled as she processed. Alexander, honey, this is a medical consultation. No more lies, Vanessa, Devon interrupted, his voice firm. He deserves better than that. The tension between them thickened as Alex looked up. Are you going to save me? He asked Devon directly. Yes, he answered without hesitation. I'll be your donor. Thank you, the boy said simply before returning his focus to the controller, patiently navigating the digital realm before him. Once outside the room, Vanessa confronted Devon. You had no right to come here without telling us. I had every right, he countered coldly. He's my son, a fact you concealed for 7 years. I tried to find you. Vanessa hissed. You disappeared completely. And when you couldn't find me, you let another man claim him. Devon's voice was still unfaltering. Tell me, Vanessa, if Alexander hadn't gotten sick, would you ever have told him the truth? Would you have ever looked for me again? Her silence spoke volumes. I'll donate the bone marrow, Devon declared. The procedure will happen here under Dr. Sunjay's supervision. After that, we'll discuss Alexander's future. What does that mean? Vanessa whispered, a sense of desperation creeping into her voice. I've spent 7 years building a life without the Harlow family's toxic influence, Devin explained. I won't let my son grow up suffocated by it either. You can't take him from us. Vanessa protested, panic marking her words. Courts always favor the mother and you abandoned us, Devin replied with unwavering resolve. I've learned a few things from your family, Vanessa, like how to think several moves ahead. The donation happens tomorrow, he concluded. After Alexander recovers, we'll revisit this conversation. As he walked away, Devin's mind was already working through the contingencies. Omega had been designed for maximum retribution, but it needed modification, surgical precision rather than total destruction. The targets remained the same but now with an innocent child to protect. Later that night, Devin called Martin. I need everything you have on Preston Henderson's business practices. Every project, every client, every permit, everything. What about the Harlows? Martin asked. Everything. Frederick's financial dealings, Beatrice's charities, Thomas's ventures. I want it all. And Vanessa? Martin pressed, surprised by the inclusion. Find me the best custody attorneys in Connecticut. Cost is no object. This changes everything. Your plan was to disappear again after delivering justice, Martin stated. Plans change when children are involved. I won't abandon him twice. Chapter 6, Shadows of the Past. The bone marrow donation procedure took place without complication. As Devin recovered in his hospital room, an unexpected visitor arrived. Liam Bennett, his former business partner. The nurse said you were awake? Liam said awkwardly, standing in the doorway. Can I come in? Devin gestured to the chair beside his bed. You're the last person I expected to see. I needed to talk to you, away from the Harlows, away from Preston. About? Devin prompted, wary. About what really happened after you disappeared? Liam leaned forward. They didn't just destroy our company, Devin. They destroyed me. Made sure I'd never work independently again. So you joined Henderson Architecture? Devin observed coldly. I had no choice. My wife was pregnant with twins. Preston offered me a position with one condition. I had to sign over all our old intellectual property. Explains why their recent projects look familiar, Devin noted. Liam nodded miserably. Henderson Architecture took credit for everything we developed. The sustainable water systems, the geothermal integration, all of it. Why are you telling me this now? Devin questioned, watching Liam closely. Because I'm tired of living under their thumb. Liam pulled out a flash drive. This contains internal documents from Henderson Architecture. Financial records, client communications, design thefts. Not just from us but from other firms too. Devin took the drive, evaluating Liam's motivations. What do you expect me to do with this? Whatever you want. I don't care anymore, Liam said, his shoulders slumping. My kids are 10 now. They deserve a father who can look himself in the mirror. Realize this could implicate you too, Devin pointed out. I know, I've made my peace with that. As Liam stood to leave, he paused. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I should have fought harder. After Liam departed, Devin inserted the drive into his laptop. Hours passed as he combed through the contents. Records of corruption, design theft, permit bribery, and more. It was a roadmap to dismantling Henderson Architecture and, by extension, the Harlows. But as he parsed through the information, a nagging concern surfaced. It was too perfect, too comprehensive. Why would Liam have access to all this? Contact Martin, Devin murmured to himself. I need background surveillance on Liam Bennett for the past week. Who he's met with, who's contacted him. The answer arrived that evening. Liam had met with Frederick Harlow twice and Preston Henderson 3 times before delivering the flash drive to him. It's a trap, Devin murmured. The files were genuine, but using them would leave digital footprints. He'd be implicated in corporate espionage. The old Devin might have fallen for it. Davis Morgan knew better. Meanwhile, as he recovered, Alexander made regular visits, showcasing remarkable resilience. One afternoon, the boy brought architectural sketches, childish yet surprisingly sophisticated. Mom gets mad when I draw buildings, Alexander confided. She says it reminds her of things she wants to forget. Do you enjoy designing them? Devin inquired. Alexander nodded enthusiastically. I like figuring out how things fit together. Then you should keep sketching. Devin encouraged him. Preston says it's a waste of time, that I should focus on business like him. Devin raised an eyebrow. What do you think? I think adults spend too much time doing things they don't like, Alexander replied, adding details to his drawing. That evening, Vanessa approached Devon cautiously, wearing an air of tension. I want to apologize for that night at Thanksgiving. For everything. Why now? Devon asked, his voice steady. Because I've had 7 years to realize what I lost, she confessed, meeting his gaze directly. I loved you, Devon. But my family, they wore me down. Made me doubt everything good between us. And Preston? Devon pressed. Preston was my family's choice from the start, she admitted without skipping a beat. When you disappeared, it was convenient for everyone, except Alexander, who you raised to believe another man was his father. I thought you were gone forever, she whispered. What was I supposed to do? Devon studied her for a moment. He saw the woman he had once loved enough to marry, now hardened by years of compromise. What do you want, Vanessa? Really? A second chance for us, she replied, placing her heart on the line. The request lingered heavy in the air. Once those words would have meant everything to him, but they didn't now. There is no us anymore, he said finally. There's only Alexander. He needs a family, a complete one, she said, confusion flaring. You had one, he reminded her. You and Preston, until it became inconvenient. You and he created an illusion. Vanessa's eyes flashed with anger. That's not fair. Preston never connected with him. Devon leaned back, coolly addressing her. That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Bloodlines? Legacy? This family obsession with heritage isn't what my son needs. Vanessa stood, consuming the reality around them. What are you suggesting? Devon offered a clearer path, a new arrangement where Alexander spends time with both of us. You divorce Preston before he can drain the family financially. How? Vanessa asked, struggling to hold on to hope. My legal team will ensure you receive a fair settlement, one that Frederick can't touch. What do you get out of this? Vanessa inquired, her skepticism boiling beneath the surface. My son, Devon replied simply, and the satisfaction of watching Frederick's carefully constructed plans collapse. Vanessa's face flickered with understanding. If I agree, what happens to my family? To Preston? That depends on them, Devon warned, his gaze hardening. But I won't lie to you, your father and Preston have committed egregious legal and ethical violations. The consequences will be significant. What are you saying? She implored. I'm going to expose them, Devon declared. What happens next is up to authorities and their shareholders. After Vanessa's astonished comprehension, she sat in silence, years of conditioning warring with a maternal instinct. Finally, she looked up, determination flashing in her eyes. Alexander comes first, she affirmed. Whatever it takes to protect him. Devon nodded, extending his hand. Partners then? She hesitated before accepting his grip, sealing their commitment. Partners. Chapter 8. The Architect's Revenge. 1 week later, as Devon stood in the doorway of Alexander's hospital room, he watched the boy pack his freshly decorated items. The bone marrow transplant had been a resounding success, and the doctors cleared Alexander for discharge with regular outpatient monitoring. Ready to go home? Devon asked. Which home? Alexander queried, glancing up. Your mother's for now, but I'll be nearby. I rented a place in Hartford while we sort everything out. Are you coming to Thanksgiving dinner? Alexander asked innocently. The question hit Devon like a wave, dredging up memories of his departure 7 years ago. I don't think that would be a good idea. Why not? You're my dad. Alexander retorted, enthusiasm unwavered. Before Devon could formulate a response, Vanessa appeared at the door. Actually, Alexander, we're doing something different for Thanksgiving this year, just the 3 of us at a restaurant. His face brightened. Really? No Grandpa Frederick's lectures about the stock market. Not this year, Vanessa confirmed, exchanging a meaningful glance with Devon. As they helped Alexander gather his belongings, Devon's phone buzzed with a text from Martin. Operation Eclipse initiating. T-minus 60 minutes. Everything okay? Vanessa asked, noticing his sudden tension. Perfect timing, Devon replied, discreetly studying his screen. Alexander, how would you like to stop for ice cream on the way home? He asked. Really? Alexander's skepticism melted away at the mention of a treat. Special circumstances call for special options, Devon grinned, steering his son towards celebration. They arrived at the family-owned ice cream parlor in downtown Hartford, a delightful little spot devoid of the usual holiday crowds. As they settled at a corner table, Devon's phone buzzed louder, with a financial news stream appearing on his tablet. The headline flashed brightly, breaking. SEC raids Jenner Therapeutics amid insider trading allegations. Harlow Investments under investigation. Vanessa's hand flew to her mouth. "It's happening," she whispered, both awe and fear evident in her eyes. "You really did it," she added, her voice trembling. "This is just the beginning," Devon replied, steely resolve underpinning his tone. "Preston is next. Then your father personally. What exactly will happen to them?" Vanessa questioned, a nervous edge creeping into her demeanor. "Financial ruin, possible criminal charges. Definitely civil suits from shareholders and families of research subjects," he calculated matter-of-factly. "Frederick built his empire on exploitation. I'm just bringing it to light." Before Vanessa could respond, Alexander returned with his mountain of sprinkles atop ice cream. As they settled in to enjoy their treats, Devon's phone buzzed again, pouring updates from Martin. Henderson Architecture stock down 42% and falling. Preston Henderson named in federal investigation for permit fraud. Jenner board voting to remove Frederick Harlow as chairman. By evening, the full scope of Devon's revenge crystallized. The carefully woven Harlow-Henderson empire crumbled under the weight of exposed corruption. Preston had been arrested, and Frederick barricaded himself in his office with attorneys as federal agents executed search warrants. Through it all, Devon maintained his composure. He took Alexander to Vanessa's apartment, assisting him in setting up a new building set while discussing initial plans for Portland visits. As the evening wore on and Alexander lay peacefully in bed, Vanessa confronted Devon. "You've been planning this for 7 years, haven't you?" "Not exactly," Devon admitted slowly. "Originally my plan was pure destruction. Complete financial and social ruin for everyone involved in what happened." "What changed?" Vanessa inquired cautiously. "Alexander," Devon replied softly. "Revenge becomes more complex when innocent lives are involved." Tension danced between them as Vanessa absorbed his words. The weight of 7 years of decisions hung heavily in the air. "I'm sorry," Vanessa murmured finally, her eyes softening. "For that night. For what I said. For letting them poison everything between us." Devon regarded her thoughtfully. "I believe you. But it doesn't change what happened." "What do you mean?" "There's no easy road to healing. What I've learned on my journey is that some betrayals cut too deep for forgiveness." She gazed up at him with newfound determination. "What will it take for us to be whole again?" Devon exhaled, choosing his words carefully. "We'll never go back to what we were, Vanessa. But there's respect, perhaps eventually trust, to think about." Chapter 9, Foundations. 3 months later, Devon stood on the observation deck of Portland's tallest tower, his son Alexander beside him. They gazed at the sprawling city below, filled with buildings Devon once dreamed of creating. "It's huge," Alexander exclaimed, bounding closer to the glass. "Can we see your buildings from here?" "Some of them," Devon nodded, pointing down at the riverside area. "That's the Riverside Cultural Center we designed last year, and over there is the Sustainable Housing Development." As they took the elevator down together, Devon reflected on the profound changes that had transpired over a few short months. Alexander, with his remarkable resilience, was thriving in this new arrangement. "How do you like staying at my place?" Devon asked. "It's awesome," Alexander enthused. "I love the roof garden. Can we grow vegetables up there next time I visit?" "Absolutely. We'll design the layout together," Devon promised, proud of his son's inquisitive nature. That evening, with the sun setting behind the cityscape, they created architectural models together. Alexander had crafted a detailed design using supplies from Devon's office, a sprawling composition of 3 structures connected by delicate bridges and surrounded by vibrant gardens. "This one is your house," he explained, pointing to the modernist structure. "This one is Mom's. And this smaller one is mine. See the bridges? So I can go between them easily." Devon's heart swelled with pride. "This is brilliant. Not just because you're my son, but because you have real talent." "Mom says I get that from you," Alexander announced proudly, his eyes sparkling with excitement. As discussion shifted to dinner, Devon couldn't shake the feeling of fulfillment. He had built bridges where once there had been deep divides. A few months prior, he had initiated conversations with Vanessa about co-parenting their son after the chaos, the fallout of their respective families, but now they were thriving in their new co-parenting arrangement. After settling down, Devon called Vanessa to provide her with the nightly update. "He's settling in well. Designed a remarkable architectural model today." "The connected houses?" Vanessa asked, her surprise evident. "He wanted it to be perfect before showing it to both of us," he chuckled. Their ongoing conversations were more fluid now, focusing less on the past and more on their son. No longer friends nor lovers, but united partners in the indispensable project of parenting Alexander. As the day came to a close, Devin stood on his balcony, surveying the illuminated skyline of Portland. 7 years ago he had left Connecticut as a haunted man. Now he had a son and a future that stretched endlessly before him. His phone buzzed once more. Final Henderson Architecture assets liquidated today. Transfer complete. You now own everything they stole from you. A cold smile crept across Devin's lips as the ultimate irony sunk in. He had reacquired all designs and innovations that Preston had stolen from him, built from the rubble of betrayal, lies, and deception. The architectural empire created by Frederick and Preston now belonged to the very man they had once mocked. In the other room, Alexander slept soundly, blissfully unaware of the lengths his father had gone to reclaim everything lost to him. Devin grappled with the notion of how to tell his son about his legacy. Tomorrow they would meet with Russell Bergen to discuss expansion. Next month, Alexander would return to Hartford to be with his mother and attend school, the pattern continuing, 2 homes and 2 parents committed to ensuring Alexander's well-being. As the lights blinked below and the city pulsed with life, Devin promised the sleeping boy down the hall that he would shield him from the painful legacy of the Harlow family. The bitterness which had once defined his past would never touch Alexander. Instead, he would inherit strength, resilience, and the ability to build, not destroy. And in that promise lay a form of redemption that neither Devin nor Vanessa had anticipated, one that existed not just for themselves but for the future they had created together.